So when I was a little kid, I was very obsessed with pregnancy, and I remember crawling out of bed late at night and finding my papa and stuffing it up my shirt, and then walking around the room like I was pregnant and just kind of hoping my sister didn't wake up and catch me. So I always knew that I wanted to have a baby and be pregnant. And later on in my childhood, I read a book about a little girl who was abused, and from that point on, I knew that I always wanted to adopt. So the first time that we got pregnant was only 10 months after Ryan and I got married, and the timing was all wrong. I was not ready financially, I wasn't ready spiritually, I wasn't ready emotionally to be a mother. I didn't want to be pregnant, and I had always been pro-life, very pro-life, and then I had my own unexpected pregnancy, and I remember when we were barely found out, I just remember thinking, I wish that there was something that could just take this away. I wish there was a pill that I could take that would just make it so I wasn't pregnant. And after thinking about it, I realized there is a pill. It's abortion. And once I heard that A word in my head, I just knew there was no way I could ever do that, and I was just going to fight to keep this baby, even though throughout the whole pregnancy I was very, very afraid of being a mom. I just resolved that she was my daughter, and no matter what, I would love her. And there was a lot I didn't know. I didn't know that she might be the only child I would have. At 8 weeks, we hemorrhaged and almost lost her. And then again at 36 weeks, I developed a life-threatening complication, and we almost lost her again. The doctor said, C-section now, and you might both live. C-section later, you might both die. And we chose to have a C-section. She was born safely by the surgeon's hand, thankfully, and she became one of the biggest, most beautiful blessings of my entire life. And there is not a day that goes by that I don't think about that I could have missed this. Traumatized by her birth, we went ahead and started the process to adopt from foster care. And while we were waiting for a placement, we found out we were pregnant, and this time everything was perfect, except where our baby was growing, and she died at 7 weeks. God entered our family into a very hard season of waiting and struggle. We fell pregnant again, and we lost baby Caleb at 8 weeks. Again, we waited for a few months, and then we finally got the call. There was a healthy newborn who would be up for adoption, and they wanted to know if we would take her. We were so excited. We had 24 hours to prepare our hearts and our home, but the next day we received the call that the state decided to place her with a different family. I was absolutely crushed. My arms and my heart were empty. I had lost 3 babies in 1 year. And then came Layla. The first night that we babysat her and I rocked her to sleep, I just knew that she was meant to be our daughter. Logic was telling me that she shouldn't be. She was with a former family, and she had been since birth. I assumed they would adopt her. A few weeks later, we were asked to be her adoptive family. There were a lot of hurdles to go through, and the state couldn't guarantee that we would keep her. But I knew that she was meant to be ours. The day after Layla moved in, I decided to look through my blog to see where I was at in my grief process, and I noticed something really peculiar. After Olivia had died, my sister had given us a weeping oak tree to plant in memory of Olivia, but the tree wouldn't grow, so we had a dead seed to commemorate a dead daughter. One day, I looked at our tree and it had bloomed. I didn't know it at the time, but the exact same day that our tree bloomed was the day that Layla was born. While I was grieving one child, God had been preparing me for another. God had remembered me, and I was not ever, ever forgotten. Layla will be ours in a few short weeks, but that doesn't mean that God has taken away all of our pain. We still go through infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss. But I know without a doubt that every single pain God has asked me to walk through, that He has a plan for it, that He will redeem it, and that He has redeemed.